In today's video, I'm going to be discussing how the economy is setting up for a massive plunge and what this means going forward. I have all the details for you right here in the video. Let's get into it and discuss what's going on. All right, now first off, I just want to point this out. I am not here to scare anybody. I am not here fear-mongering, but rather I want to bring to your attention some of the different data points that are showing up right now, pointing toward a massive recession, a massive economic contraction, and flashing warning signs on the economy. And I want to point out what this means going forward, not only for the economy, but for us, the consumers, going forward as well, and the whole health of the stock market, the real estate market, all of these other situations that are going on right now that have been very highly priced and probably overpriced for a very long time, what all this means going forward, especially for not only that, but what does it mean for actually inflation as well, and the whole situation we've been dealing with for the last several years that has not been under control. So let's get into it and talk about all those details. All right, now first off, I want to point out one of the major factors, and again, this is just something that's out there, and again, one of the different many data points that I do want to bring to your attention. So number one, think of the Federal Reserve. What have they been doing for the last, I don't know, little over 2 years? Well, they've been aggressively raising interest rates. However, to be fair, yes, they have actually tamed down on that, and they've been pausing on interest rate hikes and cuts for the last several meetings with their FOMC meetings. However, check this out. Generally, recessions start to hit the economy usually between 10 and 16 quarters after the Federal Reserve starts increasing interest rates. When did they start hiking? They started hiking way back in March of 2022. So we're basically right on the cusp of that 10-quarter threshold of when a recession generally hits the economy. Now, this is not always like the case every single time, but generally right around that 10-quarter mark, up to possibly 16 quarters at the latest, is generally when a recession hits the economy after the Federal Reserve starts hiking. And again, we are basically right at that cusp, like right now, okay? So that's just one data point. Now again, obviously, we can't base all of our decisions and everything based on just one data point. That's one data point. Who cares, right? Now next, think of it this way as well. The Federal Reserve raised interest rates aggressively, right? So right now, as I film this video, we're sitting between 5.25 and 5.5% is where the Federal Reserve has increased interest rates up to, right? However, think of this. The whole point of this is to bring inflation down. What has inflation been doing? Inflation's still going up, right? It came down from 9.1% when it peaked back in June of 2022. It's come down to around this 3% range. It's been oscillating kind of around 3% for a while now, and it's actually been going up so far this year in 2024. It's been ticking back up higher, right? That is not a good situation. And again, is this any surprise? No, I said this years ago, and many other people said the same thing. When the Federal Reserve started raising interest rates, we came out and said, hey, this is going to be a long time. We're not going to see the 2% to 2.5% range that the Federal Reserve wants for years. It's going to take years and years and years. And we even said this much as well. The last 1%, 1.5%, 2% of inflation is going to be the hardest to bring down. Well, guess what? They're finding exactly that. It's been the most difficult to bring it back down below this 3% range or so. This last 1% has been an absolute nightmare for the Fed. It's just not working, their policies, right? They haven't been able to bring it down below this 3% range, right? So anyway, and again, inflation is ticking back higher. So now there's this idea that they may need to increase rates even higher than where we're sitting right now, okay? If they do that, you might as well just call it nail in the coffin. It's game over for the economy. If they raise even higher, get ready. It's going to be an ugly, ugly picture going forward beyond that, right? And right now, as of well, we already know that these interest rates and everything going on for as long as they've been having these interest rates as high as they are, this is not a good situation, right? It is contracting in a major way. But anyway, okay, so that's another point there as well. Now get this as well. The unemployment rate has trended above its 2-year average. Okay, what does this mean? Okay, let me point this out really quickly. The last time that the unemployment rate has trended above its 2-year average was back in 2001, 2007, and 2020. Sounds weirdly odd. Those dates and those years ring a bell to me. Why? We saw massive recessions, right? What happened in 2001? The massive dot-com bubble. Things went down massively. We saw a huge contraction in the economy. The stock market was down massively as a result. And there you go. Voila, right? Next, 2007. What happened then? Let me think for a minute. Oh, gee, I don't know. 2008, 2009, we had a massive recession yet again, what was prompted by the subprime bust. Remember, housing market, real estate went down massively as a result of that. Foreclosures constantly all over the place. Another massive recession there. What happened back in 2020? Again, the unemployment rate moved above its 2-year average, and boom, what happened in 2020? We were all told to stay home, eat Cheetos on our couch, wear our pajamas, and watch way too much Netflix and TV, right? Literally. That's about what happened. It's not too far-fetched, right? So anyway, this is what's going on here. And again, this is just another data point, but here we are that the unemployment rate has trended again above its 2-year average. Another key data point that we'll want to continue watching going forward. Now next, the inversion of the yield curves, right? Okay, so this is interesting as well. We've been inverted for 580 days plus as of right now. That's massive, okay? Now here's what's interesting about it. Remember this much as well. The longer that the yield curves remains inverted like this, it just means the longer and the bigger the contraction, the bigger the recession is going to be when this thing actually whacks the economy, okay? Here's another thing that I want to point out as well, okay? There's a lot of people out there that say, oh no, a recession, a contraction, nothing is ever going to come. That's ridiculous. The reason I say that is, here's the thing. The economy ebbs and flows. There's nothing wrong with a recession. It's a reset button. I've said this many times before in another video. There's nothing wrong. A recession is a massive reset button. They go yoink, reset on the economy, and boom, we're good to go, right? So recession is not necessarily a bad thing. It resets a lot of different things in the economy. So that's something we probably want to see, considering the madness and all the weird stuff that's going on right now and the health of the economy, as well as other things that are happening right now. A massive recession would reset a lot of that, and it's not a bad thing whatsoever, okay? So we see these massive recessions coming in. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of time. That's literally all it comes down to, okay? We will see a massive, massive implosion of the economy, a massive reset, a massive contraction, whatever you want to call it. We will. It's not a matter of, oh, we're not going to see that again. Yeah, we will. It's just a matter of time when we see it. Is it going to be happening in 3 months? Could. I don't know. Is it going to be happening in 1 month? It could. I don't know. Is it going to happen in 5 years? I would highly doubt that we go on for the next 5 years without seeing a massive, massive reset, massive recession of some kind going forward, okay? This is just completely unsustainable with what we're dealing with right now, with all of these different economic data points, with everything that's that we're going on right now. It is completely unsustainable, and there's no way that this can go on for another 5 years. Now, it could, again, anything can happen, right? We can always say that. Anything could happen, but there's so many different data points that are all lining up right now, and we'll likely see a massive plunge in the economy. Now, again, when we look at it from the standpoint of us, oh my, the consumer, oh, what's going to happen to us? I say, bring it on. Let's do this. Come on, let's get it over with, right? Let's bring it on. Let's do this like right now. What are we waiting for? The sooner that we can bring a massive recession in, the sooner that we can contract this economy, the better off we're all going to be. Why? Why would I say such a dumb statement, right? I'm saying such a thing because this inflation is out of control. These prices are out of control. What's going to happen with a massive recession? We're going to see this inflation go down massively. Why? Because what are we going to do? We're not going to spend any money. Everybody's going to be scared. We're going to contract our spending. Businesses are going to be frantic to get our sales, to get people into the stores to buy stuff. What do they do to do that? They offer promotions. They offer lowered pricing. They offer deals and coupons and clearance sales and stuff like this. They do whatever they can to maintain their profitability and their margins and stuff like this. How do they do that? By using us, the consumer, to go there and buy a bunch of junk we don't need and give them our hard-earned dollars. That's how they do it, okay? It's no surprise how they do this. So a major recession would do a couple different things. Number one, it would purge a lot of this inflation that we're dealing with right now. That's number one. Next, the Federal Reserve would be forced, 100% forced, to aggressively cut interest rates, okay? These high interest rates right now are not fun. I'm not the only one that's saying this, but here's the thing. Are you enjoying paying 21.5%, 22.5% interest on your credit cards? I'm going to tell you this much for personal experience. I'm not enjoying it, okay? I don't know if you enjoy paying 20+% on your credit card. I don't enjoy that. Not a fun situation, okay? It's very hard to make ends meet and pay those things off when you're paying massive interest rates on any debt that you're carrying on a credit card. Okay, I'm just simply saying, if that were to come in, and if a massive recession comes in, we're going to see inflation go down, saving us a little more money, getting more products and services for our money. Not only that, we're going to see these prices come down. That's really good as well. We're going to see all that. We're going to see the stock market come down. We're going to see real estate prices come down. We're going to see inflation. I already said that. Sorry, inflation come down. We're going to see, what are the other ones? I mean, all kinds of stuff coming in, right? We're going to see all of this. We're going to see interest rates from the Federal Reserve coming down aggressively. It's going to be good, right? Okay, so fine. Maybe we see a few months of, the sky is falling. This is bad. Is it really bad, or is that just our perception? Depends on how you look at it, right? Are you an opportunist, or are you somebody who is scared that the sky is falling? I'm not sure about you. Let's look at this as an opportunity to say, whoa, great opportunities here. Let's sit back and enjoy this show, watch it play out, and then step in at some point when things have come down a bit and have a much better time. You see what I'm saying here? It is not a bad thing, okay? A recession, an economic contraction, in my opinion, in my perception, is not a bad thing, but rather it's a good thing because it resets all of the madness that we're dealing with right now. That a lot of this makes no sense. Interest rates are ridiculously high. Inflation is ridiculously high. Prices keep going up on everything. Product costs, service costs, labor costs, everything is through the roof right now, and it has been. Do you think a recession is going to bring that down? 100% it does. Why? Because that's just what happens when recessions hit, right? We all start saving our money. We start cutting back on spending, things like that. And then businesses get desperate to get our money again. And what do? They give us all kinds of discounts and deals and all kinds of things like this. The Federal Reserve reduces interest rates because they want us to borrow money. Don't mind if I do, right? I love borrowing money when it's cheap. When money is very expensive like this, not a fan. And I'm not only speaking for myself, speaking for everybody, right? When money is very expensive, you can't do much with it, right? When interest rates are very high, nobody wants to borrow money. Why? Makes no sense, right? It's expensive to borrow money. But when money's cheap and it's practically free with interest rates very low, sign me up. I'll borrow some money. Not bad, right? When interest rates are very low, it's practically free to borrow that money. I'll borrow all the money I can get, right? Buy all the junk I want, right? Because it's practically free to borrow that. So, kind of makes sense? So anyway, we'll have to see what happens going forward here, but it is, again, I want to say this really quickly. It is not a matter of if, it's a matter of time when we get whacked again, and it's not going to be a bad thing. You just got to look at the situation as, okay, has anything really changed in my situation? If nothing has changed in your situation, sit back, relax, enjoy the show, and you'll be in a much better financial position when the whole thing bottoms out and when the whole thing kind of comes down. Not a bad thing. And then we'll be off to the races again, okay? Generally, recessions don't last all that long. They don't prolong for like 5 years. Generally, they don't. Usually, they come in for like 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, something like that. It's not all that long. Maybe a year, something like that. And then it just kind of goes away. And then we're good to go again, right? It's like a big nasty storm. The big nasty storm comes in, kind of does all the damage it needs to do in whatever amount of time, and then it kind of just moves on, and that's it, right? Kind of the same thing here. Now again, storms obviously are very bad, but it's, kind of an analogy I wanted to give you really quickly. Make sense? Anyway, I'm going to bring anything else to your attention as I get it, but this is what I want to share with you really quickly here in this video. So, again, if you have not done so yet, subscribe down below. Totally free to do so. I will keep you posted on everything going on right now. Check out some of the videos here on the channel. Those I have in the video library, the thousands I've hand-selected for you down below in the description or the top of the comment section, or right now popping up on your screen. Check out some of those as well. Otherwise, enjoy your day. Take care. Have a good one, and I'll catch you again later.